Okay, everyone, welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Matteo Gibson, and I'm joined today by my two usual friends, James
Yeah, hello.
and David.
What up?
And we're joined with a very special guest. You just heard him laugh, Pedro, the leader of the movie club. Yes, how are you doing, Pedro?
Hello, guys. I'm a big fan of the podcast, and I'm really glad to be here today. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, he's our number one fan, so we thought we'd invite him, as an
Yep,
honor. We have a very
exactly.
massive fan base, but he's our special guest. He won the lottery. Anyway, uh, we're doing the usual, I guess you could say, routine, where we'll go over our three picks. However, this time we're going to go over Pedro's songs first. Also, James and I made a playlist on Spotify with all the songs we're about to cover. So if you want to listen to them before hearing this, you're welcome to. I'll just name the songs before we start. So Pedro's songs are "Tears in Heaven" by Eric Clapton, "Band on the Run" by Wings, and "Promiscuous" by Nelly, Furtado, and Timbaland. James's songs are "Nonsense" by NSG, "The Struggle" by Big Zoo, "Fresh Home" by Unknown T. My songs are "Fragile" by Echo 2K, "Lifeforms" by Daughter, and "Everything in Its Right Place" by Radiohead. And lastly but not least, David's songs are "Shape of My Heart" by Sting, "Layla" by Derek and the Dominos, and "Break My Stride" by Matthew Wilder. So Pedro, could you introduce us to your first song, "Tears in Heaven"?
Yeah, of course. So Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton is an absolute classic. I don't know, maybe you guys heard it on the MTV acoustic version, which in my opinion is the best. But I can say I chose this song because it's like a very personal song to Eric Clapton. And I'll be honest, when I heard the first time, I got kind of emotional because it is such a personal song. I think it's hard for you to like don't feel something about it. But I want to know, I mean, what did you guys think about it? Did you guys feel something when you were listening to it, or were you just like, that sucks?
So
Listen,
yeah,
David,
definitely in the context
yeah.
of his child dying and falling out of the window and him writing the song for him, it's definitely very touching and emotional. And the guitar is just great, and you can kind of feel the hurt in his voice. And
Yeah.
it's just overall, it's just a very touching song. Yeah, I agree
I
with
think
that.
that's the same. I think that's the same with a lot of songs with like a very deep and quite intense backstory that you can really sense the like emotion in the way the lyrics are written and the way it's performed, and that's like definitely prominent in this song.
I agree. I agree. I mean, especially like the lyrics, they're so touching, especially like when he's in the chorus, the final chorus, he says, uh, beyond the door, there is peace, I'm sure, and I know there will be no more tears in heaven. Like for me, that's like one of the most beautiful lines ever. It's kind of like, I know you're like, this like his son or his daughter, I don't know who died, but like died, and he's kind of saying, don't be sad because like you're in a better place right now, and that's like such a good. I mean, come on, that's art. I mean, this guy is so talented, so that's why I like it so much.
Yeah, what genre would you describe the sound of the song to be? For people who have
Oh,
never listened to it. I'll sing like
com.
kind of a pop
Mm,
folk kind of song, but I'm not too sure.
yeah, yeah, I get. I think I agree. It's kind of like it's so hard, especially like because I mean I prefer the acoustic version. So it's kind of like some people classify as soft rock, which I kind of see it, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know.
Because it has that very like formulaic like verse chorus thing, and I think that
Yeah.
works to the advantage because I think as he repeats that chorus more and more,
Mm-hmm.
it gets more and more emotional as you listen to it.
True. True. And I mean, there's like, I mean, the song's all in guitar, which I think that's like, I kind of like simple songs. Like it's such a simple song to perform it. So it's kind of hard to classify it in one version. I mean, it's just like a guy with a guitar, and that makes it even more impressive.
Yeah,
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 and also touching on the lyrics, the very first thing he says is, "Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven?" Right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think here he's kind of blaming himself for his child jumping out of the window on accident because, um, yeah, he wasn't in the hotel as it happened. So maybe he's blaming himself for not being there for his son and supporting him, or
Yeah.
just taking care of him, right? Because he was very young. So I think this
Yes.
is also a song about regret and, being hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. So much about that, about like, yeah, guilt and just dealing with that, which is such a, I think it's a topic a lot of people don't want to talk about. Like, it's such a hard topic to talk about. And I mean, and so I think that's like so beautiful. He made a song about it, and he's kind of like spreading, I think, such a universal message that I think everyone can appreciate this song.
Yeah, like because I was trying to like kind of pin down what his opinion about his son's death is, and during some parts of the song, you can tell he feels guilty. But I think as the song progresses, he gets he almost accepts that what happened, and he has to move on and keep working, and he's sure that once he does die, he'll see his son in heaven. So I mean, I think
Yeah,
I'm glad that he can like heal himself in a way through the song.
I agree.
Also, going back to like the style of the song is sort of produced in with very sort of minimalistic backing instrumentals, and just the voice being the main feature of the song. I think that's something which is not used enough in like modern day music. Um, a lot of it has like really overproduced like backing tracks, and that sort of takes away from the lyrics, because a lot of songs do have really great lyrics, but you just can't appreciate them as much because the instrumental is just like really heavy and distracting from the real message.
Do you think his voice was like versatile enough though? Because do you think it like? Because for me, I did like the song a lot, but I do think it got a bit like repetitive towards the middle. I think, like I do think it dragged out for a while. I think, but not too long. Just I couldn't help but notice. So, do you guys think that was the case, or do you think he was able to uh, keep interest for the whole thing?
Eric Clapton isn't really known for his vocal talent, more so for his guitar talents. So considering that he's not the best vocalist on earth, I think that he conveyed his message really well.
So you think it was? So you were able to maintain interest for the whole thing, or not?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Honestly, I really agree with that, because I agree, like, Eric Clapton isn't the best vocalist. Like, I think his true talent it is in his lyrics and the way he plays the guitar. And I can kind of see why you think that's kind of repetitive, because he doesn't like mix it up a lot. The song kind of goes in like a very continuous rhythm. But I think that if you like the basic riff he's playing, I think you're gonna love the rest of the song. It's just a matter of like how much you like it. But I think if you enjoy it, then I mean the whole song is just a great ride. Honest.
Okay.
Right. It's also appealing to a different target audience, I would say. More like guitar enthusiasts and Eric Clapton enthusiasts more than the general pop, I guess, genre.
So
Yeah.
do you guys think his guitar outshined his vocals in this song, or do you think it was a good balance between
For,
the two things?
for me, it was a good balance because they sort of complement each other really well. Because as I mentioned earlier about how the track allows for the lyrics to be very prominent, I think it works very well in that respect.
And I agree with that, because I mean, as we said, the song isn't so complicated to play, and there are many instruments. So because he's not like overdoing it in the vocals, it combines very well with the instruments in the background. So it's all a good mixture.
So what's our rating for this song?
Oh, there's some ratings.
Out of 10.
Sure. Yeah, out of 10. So yeah.
Should I start?
Yeah, you're
For
the
me,
guest.
this is one of my favorite songs. So this is for me 9.5 out of 10.
Okay, I think I'll probably give it I'll give it a 7 because I really appreciate the lyrics and the story behind it, but it's just not the type of music that I would typically listen to.
Yeah, I think I agree with James. Like if I didn't know what the backstory was and how much you guys appreciate him, I don't think I'd be as blown away by it. So I think a 7's a good score. Like it's not a bad song or awesome song, but I think it's just a good, pleasant listen. So yeah.
I'd give this a 9 because, I mean, it's a classic by Eric Clapton, and people who love him know the song as well, and it's just very touching overall. And it's a song doesn't have to be the most complicated in its, lyrics or in its playing with the guitar to touch someone in the way that this song does.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, I actually think that's a nice touch. Like it's not as a very profound message, but you can still just enjoy it for what it is, you know. So I think yeah, I agree. It's a very enjoyable song. But moving on to your next song, which is "Band on the Run" by Wings.
Yep.
Why'd you pick this song?
So I never I heard this song a long time ago, but it never really got my mind. But then I found out this is actually a Paul McCartney song. I mean, he was on this band after the Beatles, and I've always loved the Beatles, especially Paul. He's like for me, he's probably my favorite musician of all time. And I think this is kind of the song. It's a full on roller coaster. Like it, like contrary to the Tears in the Heaven, which it kind of is very continuous, doesn't change as much. This one just changes all around. The guitars, the piano, whatever instruments are in the song, they just keep mixing it up, and the pace changes a lot, and the tone. So I mean, this is one of my favorites as well. It's just a full on ride.
Yeah, it's a very fun song. I say. I think has a lot of nice like switch ups, has a very funky and relaxed sound to it. I just love the backing vocals too in the chorus. So yeah, I think it's a very enjoyable song. What do you guys think about it?
I also think it's a very enjoyable song. It's a type of music that we don't really have featured on the podcast. So I think it's very cool to have something like this.
Also, the message isn't like, if I remember correctly, it's about the band escaping jail, right? So it's a very like adventurous kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
takes you through a whole
it's an
story.
exciting. Yeah, it's a very exciting song, and I think that's maybe why I like it so much. You know, sometimes you're just kind of lazy, and then you just listen to this. It's like it's literally a band on the run. You're just like going on this ride with them.
Yeah. But like, what do you think was the best section? Like, what was the best like a sound? Because there's so many different like parts of the song. Like, what do you think
Yeah,
was your favorite part of it?
probably the second part, which you really like hear the guitar going pretty strong, kind of rock. It's more rock in that way, and it just gets. It's like I said, it's like a roller coaster. So you just start going up and up. You know, then you got to the top of the song, big chorus. That's the part I get the most excited about. And honestly, this is the kind of I think music I kind of miss nowadays. I feel like I really like when just artists mix a lot of genres in one song, and in such like abrupt ways. It's not like you can really feel it when he's changing the genre, and I think that's so cool. That's so cool about it.
Yeah, I think we both have the same favorite section. Because I remember the first beat switch really like blew me away. Like when the guitar gets very prominent, and
Hmm.
um, but I do wish that section stayed for longer. So I was just about getting into it. I was getting like relaxed and used to it, and it just switched to the chorus all of a sudden. I was a bit like bamboozled per se. And I
Yeah,
think the rest of the song kind of stayed in the third section for a bit too long. So I wish they put it
yeah,
more like a middle kind of part. But overall, like a very fun song. I think a very fun song to just drive around to and just embrace and just you know like become one with in a way. So yeah, I
yep.
really enjoyed it. And
Yeah, you can really like immerse yourself in it and try and feel like you're part of the story.
yeah, because the song is just so long, you can just give it time to grow into you. You know, I think
Mhm.
towards the beginning I was
Mm.
like, ah, the song's too long, but I just started enjoying it and getting used to it, and those whole like 7 minutes just ran past. So yeah, it was very very fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I agree.
Would you is this song a rock song? Would you say? Like, how would you describe it, like sound wise?
Honestly, I think I would definitely classify it as a rock song.
Rock song. Okay.
It's a rock song, and honestly, yeah, and it's very unusual though. It's like it's not a conventional rock song, and maybe I think that's why I think I think it's kind of hard for people to like it because it's so kind of unconventional in its structure. But
Hmm.
I definitely agree with you guys. You can have a good ride with it. I think after multiple listenings, you can start to enjoy like the complexity and all the musicality behind it.
Yeah, it's almost like a Bohemian Rhapsody of their band, kind of like it just
Yeah,
like
exactly.
switches around so much. So
That's
yeah,
what I
very
thought as well.
it's a very fun song. So what would you guys rate this song then? I think I'll
I think
start with like a 8 out of 10. Very very funny and fun song. Yeah.
I was gonna say an 8 out of 10 as well because it takes you along for a really cool ride and you can really like immerse yourself in it. And it's also something which we don't really have featured on the podcast too much. It's something that I'm not too used to listening to, and it was definitely good to listen to, and I enjoyed it a lot.
I
Right,
would
I
give.
also give this. Oh, sorry, Pedro. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna. I think I'm gonna give a 9 out of 10. I think the same reasons. It just really just got me. I think I really appreciate Paul McCartney as an artist, and this song kind of goes away a little bit from his past songs, so kind of show his musical range.
Right, I was gonna say, yeah, this song is very creative. Definitely, it takes you on a ride, kind of like a Stairway to Heaven, Bohemian Rhapsody kind of thing. So, I don't think it's as strong as those two songs. So I'll give it maybe a 7. But just for the musical creativity that can be found in this song, yeah, it's a great song.
Okay, and I guess lastly, I guess we're moving to the most. I guess like I was a bit confused because this is a very different song to other two picks. So Pedro, why did you pick "Promiscuous" by Nelly Furtado and Justin Timberlake? Very curious.
I mean, this is a classic of its time. I think it's a song I heard on Instagram a couple days ago, and I was like, oh, like I remember, like it's a 2000 song, right? And it's kind of those like nostalgic songs. You're like, oh God, such a long time since I haven't heard it. And I think it's the kind of song. It's just a joyful song. Like honestly, it doesn't have any complexity. It's kind of the song like I hate the lyrics. Like talks about like this girl and this relationship it's not working. Like very kind of conventional lyrics, but the chorus, oh my God, that's a good chorus. It just sticks on your mind. Like I don't know, it just sticks in your mind, and you just keep singing and singing. Like I've, I've caught myself so many times just singing this chorus over like past few weeks. So yeah, but it's very different from the other ones. But it's one and I like.
Yeah, I mean, I initially wasn't looking forward to like revisiting this song, but I think the song's so catchy and just so like easy that I just loved it. You know, like it just like like I don't know what happened. There was just this like
Oh,
I
you
just
liked
found
it?
yeah I found the verses like really funny and
Yeah.
like so over the top that they made me laugh at some points. And the chorus, as you mentioned, is really like earworm inducing, and you just catch yourself like singing it the whole time. And
I agree.
and even though you might underestimate the verses, there's one really cool verse which goes, "Roses are red, some diamonds are blue, chivalry is dead, we're still kind of cute." I think it's a very cool play on the overdone poem of "Roses are red, violets are blue," but adding
Yeah.
like a modern twist to it. So yeah, very fun song, very fun 2000s pop song per se.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
do
would.
like I do appreciate like how also Nelly and Timbaland keep like changing around. Like one goes and the other one goes. I think that also keeps a dynamic. You know, it doesn't sound very repetitive. I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that it's a catchy song. It's I'd say it's for the most part uplifting, but I just didn't really enjoy it that much, just because it's. I mean, yeah, it's not the first of all, it's not the type of music I usually listen to, but then again, neither is like other stuff we've listened to so far. But this one I feel like there's no real like complexity to it, and although it's a very catchy, it's just not something I can find myself like even like really appreciating that much as some of the other ones.
And James, does the song sound like aged to you in any way, or not really? Like,
It's got like a. I feel like it's got like a sort of mid like early 2000s feel to it, but I don't think it's something that you'd see people coming out with like in terms of modern music. It's like in that I feel like it sits in that sort of void between like classic and modern.
yeah, it's because I think I can't think of many songs today which are like conversation based per se, where it's like two characters talking to each other during the
Yeah,
song. So
yeah,
I do kind of miss that like story time kind of feel to it. But yeah, I do think if you're not used to this music, or you're like not really into pop music in general, I wouldn't recommend this song to you. But if you're looking for a simple, fun time, then this is very fun song.
yeah. I can agree with that.
Yeah. And David, what's your thoughts on this song?
I mean, Nelly Furtado made like two of my favorite song of all time. I mean, this one and "Say It Right," these are just two of like my childhood songs, and they encompass like so many memories. And I've also rediscovered this song lately, actually, and it brought back so many memories and stuff. And I didn't know, I don't know when I heard it when I was young, but I did. And that's kind of the feeling that I always look for when I go to 2000s music. And this song is just great. The conversation thing that they have, the chorus, as we said, super catchy. This is just a great song. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the cheesiness works really well for it. Like I think it kind of because it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just a fun song, you know. So yeah. What would you guys rate this song then?
This is a 10 in my opinion.
Wow.
10.
Okay, 10.
I love this song.
I was gonna give it a 5.
Like even though I'm very positive, I think it deserves a 6. Like it is what it is, but still, I think it shouldn't be like underestimated per se. But yeah, 6 out of 10.
I go with David's side. I'll give it an 8. I think it's really I think it's one of the best pop songs per se, and I think it follows he can hit every single expectation you might have about a good pop song, and he just reaches and achieves it. So 8 out of 10 for me.
But you were saying you hated the verses, right? Like the main verses you hated or something.
I would say they weren't my favorites. Like I can really like it's. I mean, after listening to like Tears in Heaven,
Yeah.
when you listen to this, you're like, you know, not as good in the lyrics wise, but the beat is so fun and the chorus is so catchy. So there's still a lot to appreciate. And to be honest, when I listen to a pop song, like like this kind of like in my childhood song as well, I don't want to be thinking about death or like sorrowness, sadness. I want to be like have fun, and this song can do it. So if you're having like if you're feeling just tired, you want to like just have some fun, or like if you're in a party, I think this is a great party song. Like honestly, I would dance to this all night long. It's a great dancing. Like I would love dancing to this song. So 8 out of 10, perfect.
Yeah, because I think we've covered like a lot of depressing and like very real songs for these episodes. I think once in a while having a pure, just fun listen is refreshing. So yeah, I do agree.
Yeah.
Anyway, now we're done with the Pedro songs. Now we're moving to James's 3 picks of the week. James,
Yes.
introduce us to Nonsense by NSG.
Well, I'll give a little overview of the 3 because usually, like each time, I have a sort of a bit of a theme and connection between all 3 of the songs. So this time I've chosen songs which all relate to sort of coming from nothing and like going through a struggle to become sort of like big time and famous. And in the past, that my songs have had very like maybe like deeper, depressing lyrics that maybe would really make you think, but these ones are more sort of inspirational, saying that like anyone can do it. Like anyone can do it if you just like follow your dreams, basically. So I'll begin with NSG Nonsense. And this is, I mean, yeah, pretty much everything I've just said is just a song about how the NSG is a group of 6 guys from Africa, or from different parts of Africa, and they all have similar backstories, where they weren't really like appreciated in school. They were told that like you're never going to make it if you don't do well at school. And now they're saying like, oh, look at me now, like you were talking nonsense back in the day, which is where the title comes from, and now I'm like here. So I was wondering like, what all of you thought of this song.
David, want to start?
I mean, James has been blasting us with British rap lately, so it's kind of getting annoying at this point. But I do like NSG. That's the one group that James introduced me to that I really like, actually. So I actually really like this song, and it's just, I don't know, it has like a really chill vibe to it, which I like.
Yeah, because this song is Afrobeat, right? It's like a
Yeah,
different genre.
Afrobeat. Yeah.
You had a very laid back and just relaxed feel to it, I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very it's a sort of like cool song to just listen to, just like if you're just like relaxing. And then you can just like you don't even have to think about the lyrics too much. Because I mean, yeah, while there is still there is still a lot of like dissections you can make on the lyrics. That doesn't. They're also just the like instrumentals, and the way the song is produced makes for a great listen.
Yeah, there was one verse. I think the fourth verse. It didn't say who it was by, but was it Chip perhaps or something? Like, wasn't Chip on this song or not?
Yeah, it was featuring Chip, and that was Chip's verse.
Yeah, I think because he had the most like emotion put into the verse, I enjoyed his one the most. Um, but
Yeah,
but I think I love the backing vocals in the song, like on the chorus, because even though the main voice itself is a bit monotone and a bit like doesn't alter too much, I do think
yeah.
the backing vocals kind of take the cake for me in that way because they add this duality to emotion versus no emotion, which I found very enjoyable. Yeah.
I mean, like NSG is like a great group, and they've sort of like made people really enjoy like Afrobeat music, and this is for me like their best song because there's so many different aspects to it. Like it's just the lyrics are good, the music is great, and then just the combination of everything just makes it very enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah, Pedro, what were your thoughts in the song?
So I gotta say, I'm not very familiarized with like British rap, and with all due respect, James, but I wouldn't think this is the kind of song you would listen to. So I was really surprised, but I can say I liked this song. I mean, apart from like what you guys said, like I love the beat and the message and the lyric of the song is like you can really analyze it deep, and it does sound very like personal to NSG. So I really like when a song can make you think and kind of reflect about just life and choices in general. But I have to agree, I love the chorus of the song, especially when like he just says like, "So tell me how you can, so tell me how can you doubt my grinds? I can tell you that we ain't the same." I love that line and
Yeah,
like so nice. Like it's very catchy, and I kind of was thinking earlier in the day. So yeah, it really stayed on my mind. So I like that one.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
also a very inspirational song.
Yeah, I think it's a breath of fresh air because no offense, but most of the songs are very like depressing about very like serious issues like crime and
Yeah,
or racism and
in
stuff.
previous episodes they have been, but this one they're all I think quite uplifting and inspirational.
Yeah. And this one especially is just very relaxing, just a breath of fresh air from this, year we've had especially. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Shall we give this
Yeah.
one a rating then?
Yeah, I think for me, 8 out of 10. I would have liked more variety in the actual rap verses, but yeah, overall, a very enjoyable song.
I mean, for me, this is a 10 out of 10 because I mean, I love NSG, and this is, in my opinion, their best song.
I would give it a 7 out of 10. I really liked it. I think it's also like a good party song, especially if you know how to sing it along. You can really like show people that you know how to rap, so that's kind of nice. And I agree, like the normal verses didn't really get my attention, but the rest, really nice song, and I was really surprised by it. So 7 out of 10.
For me, it's also a 7 out of 10. I do like NSG. It's probably my favorite British rap group, and James introduced it to me, so I know it's very personal to him. And yeah, it has a great chorus, and it has a very special message, and I know it matters a lot to them that they convey this message to the general public.
Okay, so next up is Big Zoo, who wrote The Struggle.
Yeah, so this one is actually a freestyle, so there's no real like chorus or anything to it. There's no like structure to the way the lyrics are performed. But it's not as sort of like laid back and chill as Nonsense by NSG. But it's still a very good song. It's got a very good message. And it's not like the message is definitely not like depressing or it's not doesn't really talk about like a real like global issue as we've had in previous episodes. But it's basically saying like, oh, you just do whatever you want. There's a part in the middle which sticks out to me in particular, saying like, so what? So what? You're not so smart and you're Asian. So what? You're not sporty and you're African. Don't let them put you in a box like an applicant. Basically saying like, oh, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to be put in like to. You don't have to be boxed up with what your culture or what your people are stereotypically meant to do. What did you all think of this song?
Yeah, I love the like emotion in his voice. Like actually in the beginning too, he's almost like screaming the lyrics out in a way. And
Yeah,
I think it was a very nice, I guess, pairing having NSD and this song because it's so different. They're almost opposites in a way.
yeah,
And I do think the beat was a bit underwhelming. Like you only heard his voice, which could be like intentionally done, but I did think
Yeah,
that it like it wasn't underwhelming per se, but just after a while I got lost because he was rapping so fast I couldn't keep up. So I
yeah.
think just getting used to it is important, but overall I did enjoy it. So yeah.
Hmm.
I really agree with like what Matteo said. Like, I really like the social message of this song. Like, really liked it about like stereotypes and just life struggles and inequality. I think this is an important message. And like the first one that you showed us from NSG, it makes you think, it makes you reflect. So really good songwriting. But I do agree, like he goes really fast, and sometimes it kind of seems like a very aggressive rap. He just kind of like
Yeah.
throws lyrics at you, so that can be kind of hard to get along. But if it's a song like you gotta listen a lot of times to really get a grip of it. But the first listening, I enjoyed it.
It's good to hear. What about you, David?
Contrary to what Mateo said, I actually really enjoy the beat. I think it's more back to the roots of British rap and
Mhm.
also German rap. It reminds me a lot of, and he goes a bit fast. So what? I think this is a good song with a deep message.
Yeah, I mean previously, like with the Dave songs I've had in the past, like that's been very like modern British rap. But this is more sort of classic grime, like where British rap all began from. And I think it's a nice throwback to like also Big Zoo giving just like giving respect to where he came from and where like his career has been, and like who the style of music that his career has essentially been paved by. So I think that was also good saying, like, because it's about the struggle of like being able to do whatever you want no matter where you came from, and this is where he came from. So I feel like that's a very nice touch in that respect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I call the song deep per se, because I picture deep as being something you have to like untangle and you have to pick apart the
Yeah, no,
lyrics bit by bit.
it's
I think
definitely
he's
not
very
deep.
direct. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
very up to front with his message, which I think is good because, as you mentioned, he wants to congratulate and thank his roots to rap and where he came from. And I love
yeah,
this verse. It's let me see. I've saved it here somewhere. How about we find your potentials, we get your skills, and we raise it, and empower yourself with your praising. So what you're not good at equations, and then it goes into your part you mentioned as
yeah,
well. So I found that part very empowering, and seeing as we're struggling IB students who are always stressed out, it's nice having someone tell you, "Hey, you can do it. You can make it."
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think
it's
it's very nice.
very fun.
So
Yeah,
shall we rate this one then?
I mean, one thing I'm gonna say just before that, I think one problem I had with this song is, and I kind of want to know like James' opinion about this, because I wouldn't really like chill to this song. Like, I wouldn't be like
Yeah,
sitting down listening to it. Like, in what situation would you listen to the song, James?
I mean, this is like just on my playlist, so I just like listen to it when I'm like coming to school on the bus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a
Okay.
song I'd listen to when I'm just like at home just chilling out.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Right.
Well, I can say for my rating, I think I'm gonna give a 7 out of 10 for the reasons I've just said. I think I like the message. Like David, I really like the beat as well. The only my only problems was a bit like really like aggressive. The lyrics really went to you, but otherwise, good song.
Yeah, I'm gonna
yes.
give it
Oh,
a
sorry.
9.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 9 because I really like the song, and I think it's got a great message, and it's also just a good inspirational song, very uplifting.
Yeah, I'm the same as Pedro. I think a 7. I do think the song was a bit short looking back and didn't have much variance to it. And as well as that, it was a bit too fast to like absorb his points. But I think on re-listens, you'd get more familiar with the points and more familiar with the flow. So yeah, I think it'll probably go up in ratings the more I listen to it. But for now, a 7 is a good score. I think. So yeah.
Mhm.
I'll also give it a 7 for the reasons mentioned by Mateo and Pedro, but I also like the beat, so I have nothing more to add.
Okay, and the final one is "Fresh Home" by Unknown T. Unknown T can definitely split opinions because his style is so unique, and this is more going back to sort of modern British rap. Um, and this one is more about how he was wrongly convicted of murder and was sent to prison for roughly a year. And how he's saying in the song is basically saying he's back, like he made it out, he defeated his like biggest struggle, and he's coming back to show everyone that he he's a very very talented artist, and that he deserves to be given more credit than what he's been getting.
Yeah, I think out of your three picks today, this song had the best production for me because the beat was so bleak and drony and almost prison-like, like
Mm-hmm.
in sound. So yeah, I really loved the sound to it, and I do think you're right calling him unique because his rapping style is super like monotone and doesn't really alter too much in pitch,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
do
no,
think it lends to very good storytelling, which he's doing in his song. So
he's got a very deep voice, and that's something which I mean, it's because you see it a lot more like recently, like especially in the past year. But this this style is definitely known to split opinions, and it's either like very popular with people or very unpopular with people. So I'd be interested to hear like how you all thought of this, what you all thought of the style.
Well, it's interesting you said it's split opinions because I can say it was the one I had most trouble with out of your songs, James.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I couldn't really relate to anything in the song, so it's kind of hard for me to get like a grind of it. And I mean, I thought like I really liked the background vocals. I'm going to highlight my favorite one when he says the jungle. I love that line. And but I agree. I like when you said like it comes really back to modern British rap. I do agree with that. But for me, uh, like the lyrics more wise, it seemed a rather like conventional song. So I didn't really find anything special about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's just my opinion. So I didn't really get a feel of it. But I don't know what David thought about it.
I mean, I'll just also mention that I mean, I don't understand what you mean when you say it's not relatable because it's a situation that none of us have ever really been in at all, like
Mhm.
being like wrongly convicted and then sent to prison.
You don't know
But I
me,
think
bro.
but I also think it does connect well to the sort of overarching theme of just proving people wrong and then saying you can make it no matter what situation you're in.
True. Yeah, I do agree with that.
yeah, David, what's your thoughts on this song? Because you're a bit not like you like British rap to an extent, right? So what do you think about this song in particular?
Well, like the last song by the Big Zoo thing, this also had a great beat for me. I just found it annoying that he was like, "Yeah, I'm a well-known rapper." Like, it's just like, okay, bro, like we get it, you know. It's like it sounded a bit pretentious sometimes, but considering the stuff that he's been through, I definitely appreciate that, you know, he got out of it and he's getting famous now and stuff.
Yeah, I
Oh my.
did think the song overstayed its welcome for a while. Like it went on for too long for me. Like it just repeated the same chorus over and over again. So that did get a bit tiresome for me. And also, if he isn't telling a story, for me, there isn't much excuse to have this very like not boring, but just sane voice for the whole song. So I do think I enjoyed it more towards the beginning than the end of the song.
Yeah.
For me at least. Yeah.
I definitely agree with what David said. Like it does. Like I hated that line as well. She's like, "I'm a well-known rapper" or whatever. Like it did sound pretentious to me, and it's very. I think it's nice to have like individualist songs, like which you talk to your story. I think a lot of times this can motivate someone, but in this case, I feel like the route like this guy chose to take, it should talk about his story. It did sound pretentious, so it's not kind of motivational. It's rather self-praising.
I
Also, was
understand.
it confirmed if he? Because I searched that apparently he stabbed someone, and that's why he got sentenced. Was that fake or just?
That was fake. No, it was proven that he was wrongly convicted,
Oh,
which is
okay,
why he
okay.
got out after a
Yeah.
year.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good then.
Yeah,
Also,
that's good.
I found it interesting how there's a contrast with religion and like murdering people. A very, very divisive thing. So he says, "I thank God, so I sing with grace. The Lord blessed me, so I stepped out of the gates. Induction man patterned the place." But then he says, "Poke, then cut, the you got soaked. Taupe or tear man, I dare man, try provoke. I can samurai step on my own." So it's very, not almost ironic contrast because he's blessing God, but then stabbing someone in jail or seeing someone get stabbed. So it's
Yeah.
very. I just noticed how in a lot of these songs, they tend to like jump from theme to theme, and some themes are so far apart it gets a bit not funny, but just kind of amusing at
A
some
little bit
points. I'd say.
confusing at times.
Yeah.
So should we give this one a rating then?
Yeah,
mean,
so I'll
I'll-
start then. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I think, like the last song, it'll grow me the more I listen to it. And I did, like, even though the lyrics were sometimes a bit pretentious, I do think it has good intent and a fun hook to it. So, yeah.
You know, you can only be in the podcast a couple of times, so I do want to be a bit controversial. So I have to say I'll give it a 1 out of 10.
Ooh.
I'm
Wow.
sorry, James. I'm sorry, James. I did it,
Yeah.
but again, like I do understand people who like it. I do like artists who really try to innovate. But honestly, I'm not very used to British rap as I've said, so I wouldn't really listen to it. But I'd definitely like to know more about the song. But for me, so far, it's a 1 out of 10. Come on, haters.
I mean, as I said, this guy does split opinion, so that's completely fair.
David?
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to be as harsh as Pedro because I love James. I'm going to give this a 4. I really like the beat. It's super pretentious, and I'm sorry that he got wrongfully convicted, but he should be convicted for producing not below average music. I'm sorry.
Oof, the worst crime.
I mean,
Okay.
I'll finish it off on a good note and give it an 8. I mean, I really like Unknown T, but I think this definitely isn't his best song. And there's ones I definitely prefer. But I still think it's like a good song, and I chose it because it fits very well with the theme that we've sort of been discussing for the most part today. So yeah, I think 8 out of 10.
Okay, well, that concludes James' 3 picks. Now we're moving on to my picks. My first song is called Fragile by Echo 2K. And before I introduce the artist, or no, I'll introduce him first and then I'll ask your opinion. But I guess Echo 2K is a Swedish songwriter slash singer who is a musical member of a rap group, or I guess art group called Drain Gang, whose sound I describe as dreamy or ethereal and has very experimental and altered vocals. I'd say Echo 2K is the most experimental, and I wouldn't really call his music rap per se, more so a blend of pop and shoegaze and I guess even Afrobeat to an extent. And his songs often dwell on themes of broken relationships, self-discovery, and drug abuse. So, what do you guys think about the song then, Fragile?
I'm not gonna lie. Actually, this was probably of your choices, Medeo. This was probably my favorite week because I really
Oh, wow.
liked this one. I really liked this one. And I really liked the next one, which we'll discuss, Lifeforms.
Hmm.
But yeah, I really like both of those songs. It is sort of a dreamy feel, which I've noticed a bit of a trend with your songs. Like, it sort of leaves your imagination to do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say differently from James. Honestly, when I heard this song, I was like, "Yeah, this is a Mateo song. This this is like it's like a trippy song. It just like really relaxing, really relaxing. Like
hmm
I would listen to this if I was like just like laying in bed, really tired, or people who take shrooms or listening to this. I recommend this one. And it's
Yeah.
interesting. You said like it's very experimental. I don't know if you guys felt that, but I heard some like weird noise at the beginning. You know, like some turtle sex noises, some
Yeah. Yeah.
weird stuff.
Some like
But
laughing.
honestly,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But talking about the instruments in the background, I thought it was very interesting. As I said, it conveys a very calm environment. So every time I listen to the song, like it's really relaxing. So I really like that.
And David, what do you think about the song?
It's very experimental, very relaxing. I don't think it's anything special, but it's good.
Yeah, because okay, yeah. I mean, after I was gonna say, I love the production. It's really hard to describe. I guess in a metaphoric way, it sounds like someone's pouring like cherry flavored water into your ear. Like it's just so soothing and so fresh and mellow. And
hmm
then I think the vocals are really good in the song, like the backing vocals and
They're very
super
soft and
high,
very soothing.
the super high pitches you can achieve is not that easy to get. I think like when once you try singing the song, you realize how hard it is to sing like that. And
Okay, that's probably auto-tune too.
yeah, yeah. Even then, though, it's like it's just I found it really a very different experience to what people would call hip hop, for example. And yeah, what do you guys think of the lyrics? Like, did you guys listen to them, or try and analyze them, or like?
Honestly, like I actually liked. I thought it was very interesting. He used like some very interesting like juxtaposition. Like he's just talking about like fragile things, and then he just switched to harmful things. Uh, that's like very interesting. I don't really know what he means by that. Like, I wasn't able to understand it, but it did make me like reflect about it. So it was interesting he did that. And I mean, one of my favorite lines, skin tone like Diet Cola. Like I have no idea what he means by that, but I just thought it was kind of funny and interesting. So it did make me think. So I did like the lyrics.
Hey, James, what do you think of the lyrics on the song? Did you, because you're into
I
rap,
thought
did you think that had meaning or?
I feel like they were very ambiguous, and you can take maybe, and I feel like if you spent time dissecting them, you could take lots of different meanings from them. But I think with the like backing track, they worked quite well just because of the way they were performed, not necessarily because of their actual content. But I thought for the most part they fit, but I just couldn't really like I had a bit of trouble understanding what they were actually like, what the significance of them actually was.
Yeah, I guess
I
I'll
think he's
try and.
like tripping on shrooms or something. Like he's actually like he's dying. Like
I
he's like,
agree.
stop my racing heart, beat soft hard, and it stops and starts. Like this is definitely about some trip on some drug.
I agree.
Yeah,
You know, David's right. I mean, I'll get to that because I want to like dissect them a bit, the lyrics, because he says the first line, "Wake up, happy, wash my face in acid," and this could refer to like how people apply makeup or skin routines to achieve beauty in a way, and it's how people are over defending themselves to become beautiful or appealing in public, and how that does the opposite effect. Unironically, applying makeup is like applying acid because people see through you. They see how much effort you're putting into bettering yourself in a way. So I thought that's a very cool lyric into how vulnerable and fragile everyone is, and how sensitive we can all be to criticism, and how you like wear masks to like kind of make yourself look fake in a way. And this could be uh, continued to the lyric, "I'm glassy, shattered, wrapped in bubble plastic," and that's how people will wear designer clothes or really expensive gear to wrap their fragile core in a way to protect themselves. And then adding to David's comments about drug abuse, he does have a lot of, I guess you could say, allegories to drugs. So, for example, he says, "My racing car, it stops and starts, breaks apart, paints the walls." This is referencing to MDMA or ketamine, where there's a high risk of overdose and your heart will just stop working and will just explode in a way. And then the lyric, "Break my chains, I change my locks, I want to talk to the spirit gods," is referring to psychedelics, where you have visions of gods and higher beings talking to you and giving you the meaning of life, opening your third eye, and how people who are vulnerable and fragile will turn to essentially abuse of substances like alcohol or drugs and harm themselves in that way. So I found that very insightful. And then because he's Swedish, the last outro is a Swedish poem which translates to wake up, breathe in, breathe out, which is what doctors will say to people who are suffering from overdoses, to just breathe and be calm and stay alive in a way. So yeah, I found the
yeah,
lyrics very very intense when you get into them in a way. So yeah.
yeah. After seeing
No,
that
no.
analysis, I can understand like that they are very yeah, very deep, and do have a lot of meaning, which is quite important actually.
Hmm.
No, now that you like explain the lyrics, I kind of appreciate more of the song, and I can see it now through the lyrics, and it's so interesting. Then, like he talks such a difficult topic, but still, when you listen to it, you do feel like very calm about it. So it's kind of like he does hide the meaning within the song, which it's I think it's like a dangerous choice to make, because I think as an artist, you do have to consider like what message do you want to bring up, what questions you want to ask the listener. And sometimes I feel if you make the choice to maybe the lyrics don't have the same tone as the instrumental part, I think it can be kind of like misleading for the listener. But I think it's a very bold choice for an artist to choose. So yeah, very interesting indeed.
Yeah, I interpreted the lyrics and that sound to almost like replicate what's like being on drugs. Because when you're on drugs, you're just thinking, "Oh, this is heaven. I'm
Yep.
having a good time." But then he's self-reflecting, saying, "No, this is actually a bad thing. Or if I do this too much, there'll be bad consequences." So yeah, I see what you mean, but it's a very cool
Yeah.
duality song. So
Nice.
All right,
yes,
let's rate it.
what would you rate it then?
I'll give this a 8 actually. Like the lyrics and the mixture between the soft vocals and the soft beat in it, I think it does take you on kind of a trip, not in a drug sense, but like, you know, you're with this guy that's drowning in maybe pain or fragility.
I'll also give it an 8 because that's something I like about a lot of your songs, Matteo. They can just like take you on a trip, like David mentioned, and just let your imagination do whatever it wants with it. So I think that's a very nice touch. So 8, yeah.
I would give it a 7. As I said, it is a very calming song, and I would listen to it. However, maybe it wouldn't fit every situation. I like to listen to a song. I do like to sing it along, or just really kind of bopping my head to it. And it's not a song I would do that. But still, I would definitely listen to many other scenarios. So I do like it. So a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, for me a 9. I just wish the song was longer because I feel like it could explore so much more, like with the sound and the atmosphere is just so good. I like. But yeah, apart from that, I just love the song. Recommend it to everyone. Even the album called E is just really good by Echo 2K. So yeah, I recommend it. Now moving on to the next song, Lifeforms by Daughter. What do you guys think about this song?
I like this song a lot on the first listen. I really appreciated like this like sort of soft lyrics and just how it was very sort of soothing track. But like as I listened to it a couple of times more, it just like got a little bit boring as it like went on, just because it just seemed to drag out,
Yeah,
and not much new really happened throughout the course of the song. But overall, I still thought it was a good song and I liked it. I mean, as I mentioned, this was probably my favorite week of your picks.
Hmm.
Well,
Pedro, what do you think about it?
I had it's a similar interpretation to the first one, but I have to say I think this one maybe was my favorite out of your songs. Also, I thought it was an extremely calming song. But this time, I had no idea what the lyrics were about. Like the other one, I tried to get an idea of it and I did find interesting the lyrics. This one, I had no idea what they were about. So I definitely want to know what were your guys' opinion about it. But I really like the guitar, especially at the beginning. So the beginning was really catchy for me, and I did feel I did feel interested and curious to listen to the whole song, which is something sometimes I think songs can really mess that up. But this song nailed it. So yeah, that was good.
David,
I
what
mean,
do you
this
think
is a
about it?
pretty good like girl voice guitar thing. Like it's a simple recipe for a simple song, but I think this one did it quite well considering that there was only 2 ingredients in this mixture.
I think I disagree with the simplicity because I think there's a lot of distortion and like playing with the guitar. Like they often will stretch them out, make them sound more grungy and hypnotic in a way. But I do see what you mean with the like girl vocals in a way where it's very soothing in a way. Um, I guess you guys mentioned the lyrics and what they mean. I spent a long time dissecting because it's a very confusing story per se. But there's 4 perspectives in the song, and it follows a story pretty much of her mother and a father who are in a relationship and they're having a kid, and the father leaves, and how the child's relationship with the mother continues. And so the mother disregards the child because it resembles her father. It says in this verse here, "Oh, you steal his features, and your mother is a bleacher. She don't even feel the heat. No, she don't even want to speak to you." About how the mother doesn't like her child because it reminds her of the father who left her. And then there's also this line saying, "From the beginning, small life forms they can kill without warning, so don't explode. It references how a baby can ruin a relationship because we assume the father left because he didn't want the responsibility of having a child. And then the fate of this child, we don't know what it was really because there's a lot of imagery alluding to abortion and death in the way. And these are very tough topics to tackle in the song and discussion. But I think because there is no opinion saying if it was good or bad, I think it's very respectable in the way it addresses these things. Um, and then I want to add, I think as the song progresses, it gets more and more aggressive, and this climax almost appears where the guitars become super distorted and funky and just explosive. And the lyrics there say, well, you can try to forget me, I won't let you easily. You can try to forget me, won't let you easily. I'm floating on the water, washed out to sea, drifting away with time, will regret you conceived it. And it's about how either the mother killed herself or her son, who may or may not have been killed off, is killing themselves to either anger the mother or the father for what they've done. But then the last lyric, which is the most impactful for me, says, just like insects clean up the dead you leave behind, which could allude to when the mother or child kills themselves, that the father who's long left them behind doesn't care, and just like an animal or insect, sees him as just nothing, as just someone he's bred with, pretty much. So it's a very dark song, I'd say, and very, very tough subject matter for many people. So I guess once I've explained this, what do you guys think of it now, per se?
I have to say it does give more value to the song, and I explaining it. But I do have to say that my rating and my interpretation of it was really more based on the instrumental,
Yeah.
which like because of what because of the fact I said it's a complicated song to understand, and I think that's a very interesting interpretation you just had. Very dark song coming off that, which is kind of interesting because it's such a beautiful voice, honestly. And you talked about the climax as well, and now listening to kind of like the story of the song, it fits very well, and I really like that idea that of like her journey, and just as it goes, it just gets more aggressive and more aggressive, and just I think also fits very well with the name of the song. I mean, life forms. Just makes you think about just life in general and people you meet and what kind of different journeys they can take. So I think, yeah, with our explanation, it makes me think more about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
think
even the name Lifeforms is like, oh, is that how the mother sees her child? It's like a simple form of life, not as her kid. So yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
what are you saying? Like,
I think that's the same. I actually feel the same on like similarly about it because I think the voice is really beautiful and that contrasts to the sort of dark and like somewhat twisted meaning to the lyrics. I think that's made me like, appreciate it even more. I mean, I liked it to begin with anyway, but that's just like sort of spurred, like invigorated it.
hmm. Yeah, I think it definitely can drag out if you're not following it. But I think once you know the meaning of the song and oh, this mother is contemplating suicide, the father just left her and he's a selfish person, and what's the
Yeah,
kid gonna do? It gets really it's a tough listen, I'd say, once you know what it means. And that last line with the insects just really hit hard. Like I was like, oh, this is horrible. But
Yeah.
what would you guys rate the song then overall?
I'd now give this a 9, actually. After you explain me the whole like nuances of everything, I think it is. I don't think I appreciated this song enough on the first listen. But yeah, the distorted guitar with the mixture of the story behind this song, I think it definitely adds a lot of value. And again, this is kind of like a story that the song takes you on, which is very, it's just a trend in your song picks. So I definitely appreciate that you picked this song, Mateo.
Do you think the song like wasn't offensive or wasn't? Do you think it handled the topic of abortion well in a way? Because it's a very sensitive topic. So I wonder what you guys think about that. Like,
I think it did touch on it. I think it did talk about it well because it's hard to interpret, but when you do interpret it, the message I think is very dominant, and it definitely leaves you considering and conflicting with your own thoughts. and your
I do
morals.
like. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I agree with what James said, definitely. And I think also very important is, I mean, art is supposed to talk about hard topics, and I think that's what makes it easier, I think, for us to like just judge it or just discuss it. But more importantly, I think the song doesn't judge abortion. It doesn't. If you are pro-abortion, if you're against it, I think the song wouldn't be judging you for that. It just made me think about it. So I think that's really the purpose of art, and I think that's why it's not aggressive at all.
Yeah, more so simply discusses how abortion comes to play, not really if it's good or bad, just simply
Yeah.
when it's present. So I think along with that, I'll give the song a 9 out of 10 as well. I do think, like James mentioned, it could drag for a bit too long, but overall a very layered and instrumentally very versatile song. So yeah.
Even though I said
Yeah,
I said this one of my favorite songs, this one of my favorite songs that you chose, Matteo, I will give it the same rating. I will give it a 7, just based on the fact that, I mean, after I listened to the first time, I did feel it deserved multiple listenings, like David said. But on the first listening, it didn't do the sufficient to make me want to listen again. I mean, after you explained it, I do want to listen many more times,
Hmm.
but I don't know if the general public would feel that way. But still, really recommend it.
Yeah. And James?
Yeah, I already spoke about like what I think of the song, so I'll just give the rating. I think it's an 8, on par with the Echo 2K song.
Okay, sounds good then. Then on to the last song by my favorite band, Radiohead. Um, Everything in its right place. I'll just give a brief introduction. I think I have it here. Um, I would describe. Sorry, give me a sec. Yeah. Um, so this song specifically comes from their album called Kid A, which draws influences mainly from electronic music such as Aphex Twin, who we'll cover next week. However, I'd describe this experience as super unique, and despite being released 20 years ago, it feels like a song that's very futuristic in a way. And fun fact, there's pretty much no instrumentals in the song. It's pretty much just the guy's voice layered and a synthesizer. So it's a very minimalistic but effective song in my opinion, and very dystopian and alien sounding too. So what do you guys think of the song?
To be honest, it was my least favorite of your picks this week. Like I'm not a massive, like, apart from a couple of songs, I'm not a massive like Radiohead fan. And for me, this one, I wasn't, yeah, I wasn't as into it as your other two. I was more like waiting for it to finish.
Yeah,
Contrary to the song's title, I will have to say that anything is in its right place in the song.
yeah,
But I do agree with what James said. It wasn't my favorite, based on the fact that this is not the kind of song I would listen to normally. I think you have to be really open-minded to really listen to the song. Again, trippy song. Like if you're on shrooms, play it now.
yeah,
But it's really crazy and very interesting. I have to emphasize on the very, because it's like you said, it's a unique song. It's on its own layer. There's nothing I can compare it to really. Uh, I would recommend people to listen and make their opinion of their own, because just the instrumental part, the lyrics part, I really didn't know how to interpret it. It's just a different idea that most people are not used to it.
David, what are your thoughts on the song?
I mean, I'm more of a casual Radiohead listener. The only song I listen to is Creep. So
Me
I don't know
too.
anything about the band. But this song was definitely interesting. Like it showed me that they have a different side just than Creep. It's definitely unique. But I probably wouldn't find myself listening to this. But I bet Mateo's gonna like analyze the lyrics or something and give us some really deep meaning that's gonna put the rating up. So I'm excited for that.
Well,
But can I say
so
something before you do that?
yeah,
I'm really curious to know that as well, because I mean, my favorite lyrics were a lemon and everything. Like I
Yeah.
don't know how that can have a meaning, man. So I'm really
Okay,
curious
so
about that.
so let me give some background first. The album with this song called Kid A came out in the year 2000, and maybe your parents can tell you this, but they were scared of the year coming up because there's like glitches and fears of future gonna devour us, and there'll be like tech advances with robots and AI and technology, and we wouldn't know what to do, and we'd be glued to our screens, which is kind of true today, you could say. Like we are very tech dependent, but people quote this album as saying that Radiohead's welcoming you to the 21st century, and I think this is very adequate because we we humans can't predict the future per se, and you might have simple ideas, but we'll never know what truly arrives. Um, uh, James, are you facing tech difficulties, or what's wrong? Like, do you? Should I just continue, or okay, I'll continue. James had some tech stuff, but
Yeah,
anyway,
I might have to leave a little bit early today.
yeah. Um, okay, well, should I just continue then, or do you want to like say something before you leave, like something?
Yeah, I'll give my rating for this last song, for the
Okay.
Radiohead song before I
Yeah.
have to leave. I think it's like a 4. I was not a big fan of it, but I'll miss your insult, and I'm gonna miss David's songs, unfortunately.
Oh man.
Hmm.
Well,
Unfortunate.
see you then, James, and hopefully you have a good
Goodbye.
time. Yeah.
Hi,
Bye.
James.
Thank you, James.
We love your songs. I'm sorry we're a bit too harsh.
Yes, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Anyway, yeah, and the only few lyrics in the song is everything in its right place. Yesterday I woke up sucking a lemon, and there are two colors in my head. And all these lyrics are like the future, uncertain, open-ended. You can make thousands of interpretations of what you think the intent is, but in the end, nobody will really know what the future entails in a way. I mean, for example, with the lemon lyric, you could say, "Oh, in the future, people will wake up looking like they're eating a lemon because when you do that, your face becomes sour and pissed off and crunched up. It makes you look
Yeah.
grumpy and frustrated." And you could say that
Yeah.
in our current society, we might find ourselves waking up angry and, just sad at our lives because we're in this grind of high stress, workload, and happiness, and with their preoccupations. So, yeah, I mean, there's many different interpretations to the song. I just find the song so elegant and so inviting and alluring because it does make you think a lot about what it means per se and what the future will entail tech wise. So yeah, I think this song is timeless. Like it could come out tomorrow and I wouldn't see a difference. But this song came out 20 years ago and it still sounds so modern in a way. So yeah,
I mean, I'll have to say I have very contrasting ideas to what you said. Uh, for me, it didn't really sound very inviting. It it's definitely like a very experimental. I would say this is a for me like when you say Radiohead, this is the kind of song I think about. To be honest, even though I'm like David, I'm not a casual Radiohead listener. I think that they're a band that really want to make you think.
Hmm.
And I think it's kind of interesting how they just keep repeating the lyrics. They don't vary as much. That can maybe annoy some people. For me, that wasn't really the case, but I just like it's something that I think the fact that I just wasn't able to get it, which is
yeah,
something I'm mostly not annoyed by because I think just being confused or not knowing the answer, I think it's important. It's sometimes that's what the listener wants. And now that you're giving a context of when the song was made on the 2000s and what people were expecting for the future, now I really see it as a very like almost a pessimistic song of the 2000s. And contrary to what you said it's timeless, and I do think the technicalities of the song are timeless. I think a lot of its value is within its context of production and reception in the early 2000s. And now looking back, like how the century has played out so far, I would say this is. Our world has faced a lot of problems, but also a lot of just like great things.
yeah,
So to think about it like as a lemon, like everything in its right place, I do have to listen more times to make a formal judgment of it. But I would say I didn't completely agree with what Radiohead is saying, even though I do appreciate their opinion.
Yeah, because I feel like it's a very bleak and negative perception of the future, and they did get some parts right, like us being glued to screens,
Yeah, definitely.
and there are people who wake up every day, like angry because they're,
True.
like done with life, But I
True.
do think you could apply the song to our perception of what the future will be. Like, what do we think will happen in 30, 40 years, So, I mean, I think in that regard, there'll always be somebody like wondering what will happen, So, in that regard, I do think
Yeah.
it's a very, it'll always be a song that fits every scenario about the future, per se. But, yeah. But David, what was your take on that, I guess, analysis? Do you think it's different now, or do you still think the same about it?
Well, I when I listened to it, it was, I don't know, I just couldn't be comfortable while listening to this song. It made me very uncomfortable, to be honest, and maybe that's the whole point of it. But I'm definitely not the type of target audience that they want to appeal to.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole future conversation is definitely interesting. I just didn't really hear it in the lyrics, to be honest.
What do you think about the vocals? Because they're also pretty high, like high pitched. What do you guys think about that? Like, were they good vocals, bad vocals? Like,
I mean, I do like the Radiohead vocalist. Or I always thought like he's a good singer. He's a really good singer and has good range. But I think if it fits the right purpose of the song, I think that's the main thing in any kind of form of art. It's what's the purpose of the song, and I think the purpose, from our explanation, just I think the lyrics itself is somewhat discomfort, or just pessimism,
yeah,
and in some weird way or form. Because I'll be honest, I'm not a professional in the aspects of songs and just the way people sing, but it did cause me to feel some kind of discomfort. So I would say it did fit really well with its purpose.
So then, what would you guys rate this song then? I mean, I'm gonna give it like a high 9 out of 10. But that's my you
Wow.
guys know I love these like weird kind of songs and alternative uh, ways of making music. So that's pretty self-explanatory. But what do you guys rate the song?
Give it like a 6.5.
That's pretty generous. Like it's pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, uh, it's. I mean, I like when a song makes me feel a certain way. I mean, it made me feel uncomfortable, so I guess it accomplished its whole meaning. But yeah, I don't want to feel uncomfortable, but I appreciate that it does that. So it's a 6.5.
I kind of I totally agree with what David just said. I do like when songs make me feel a certain way. I think there's songs that I do want to feel happy. There are sometimes I just want to feel sad, feel angry, whatever it is. But I think, to be honest, when I heard it the first time, even though I did feel uncomfortable, I didn't really know why. And now knowing the message of it, I think the song gains a lot of value. But honestly, I don't know when I would listen to this song. And this is just because I'm not the target audience of it as well. So I think I would give it a solid 2.
All right. Well, that's my three songs finished. I'm glad there was like a mixture, right? Like it wasn't all bad or good. It was nice,
Yeah,
and there are
true,
different things. So I'm glad I
true.
accomplished that division of just talking about opinions, which is good.
And thank God it wasn't all British rap.
Yeah, yeah, true. Anyway, now we're lastly moving to another connoisseur of classic music, and this is David. Introduce us to your first song, which is "Tears in Heaven." Oh no, sorry, no. "Tape My Heart" by Sting.
So yeah, this song is it has it has a great guitar melody in it. There's no denying that. And also the lyrics, I guess we can focus on the lyrics in this song. It's about a gambler who is addicted to gambling and he searches for meanings in the cards, but in the end he doesn't find any meaning, just like because his life doesn't have any meaning, and he's disguising his pain with a mask, which is maybe gambling, if you would say that. And it's about a struggle with gambling addictions and yeah, just pain in general. But it's just a great contrast between the I just love this song, man. It's just so I don't know, like the flute as well. It's just also it's not catchy, but it's so calming in a way. But then it's also about something that we don't think about. I mean, gambling addiction. None of us are addicted to gambling, but it's such a different take on it. Like searching for meaning in the cards. I mean, he says that he knows that the spades are the swords of a soldier. He knows that the clubs are weapons of war. But like, what is this supposed to tell him? You know, like he has to look for meaning not in the cards, but in his life.
I also read the lyrics as an interpretation of Sting as a artist in a way, because he said like, "Oh, this gambler doesn't win for the money; he just wins for the sake of gambling and trying to figure out what luck is and how luck works." So in a way, it's Sting saying, "Hey, I don't make music for the money. I make music for the enjoyment of making music and exploring music as an art form." So I found that very interesting too. And I love the guitar melody. I actually think Juice World sampled this song in his Lucid Dreams
Yeah,
song. So I
he did,
recognize it.
which is unfortunate because now everyone thinks about the melody of Juice World, but you know, I mean, Juice World is just an inferior artist to Sting.
Yeah. I mean,
No
I did.
disrespect, rest in peace.
Yeah. Like you can tell this song is a bit aged. Like it's very 90s, which depending on your mood can be good or bad. But I think overall I enjoyed it. Like it's for me it was a bit too long. It didn't like alter too much. But apart from that, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say it's a beautiful guitar in this song. It for me has one of the best openings ever. Just love it and just really hooks me, and I just get like interested and just get engaged the rest of the song. It's a very the tone is set very well, and the lyrics. I just love the metaphor he does with the cards throughout the song, and I love the lyrics that David just read. They're super interesting, and gambling. I think it's also a very it's a I think a common problem that many people face. And I like this fact that he's trying to find meaning in it, but deep inside, he doesn't have any. And that kind of failure of finding something, it's something sometimes we don't really talk about. So the song taking this kind of uh, perspective into gambling, it's very interesting. And I agree. I mean, Sting is a very good musician, and I really respect both his songwriting skills and just the way he plays the guitar and sings it. It's just a very beautiful song.
Yeah. And also, I guess going back to the whole parallel story with Sting and the gambler, I think the last half of the song details how romantically the gambler is really not too good because he's keeping this poker face on for so long that even people who he wants to love can't tell who he's like as a person. And
Yeah,
and that could be attributed to being an artist too, because on stage you're putting this character being flamboyant or a party animal or being mysterious. And if you keep this mask on for too long, you do lose yourself eventually, and you fail having, you know, meaningful relationships. So I find that like parallel story with both the artist and gambler very intriguing and very layered in a way. So,
Well, I think that's kind of a stretch, but it's an interesting perspective to take. But I think this is mainly about gambling. I don't know if Sting's intention was to talk about himself, but yeah, I mean, this is an interesting perspective to take for sure.
yeah, I did find the harmonica solo a bit cheesy. Like I don't really get why that was there per se, but the rest of it was really good. Like
what Mateo just said about like him trying to talk about himself or just an artist in general, I did reflect about that because it's such a. I mean, I don't know what Sting's history with gambling or any kind of relation to the topic, but it did make me reflect what was his inspiration to write about this topic and just talk about addiction and finding meaning on it. It really, I mean, it's a super interesting topic. It just made me curious to know why was he interested in writing about it. I don't know if you guys know any reason to it, but one thing I also wanted to talk about is very different way from Mateo's songs. I thought this song was very tranquilizing as well, which kind of contrasts to what the lyrics trying to say because it's such a kind of sad thing to listen to with someone just who can find meaning in his life. Still, I felt really tranquil and I just kind of really wanted to listen to the whole song. So that's a really good aspect to it.
yeah, no, I think as David mentioned, the ability this song has to create different meanings is very inspiring too in a way because I just realized how different our interpretations are of it. So I do respect it for that reason. So should we rate the song now, or
Yeah, I'll
Yes,
give it.
sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead, Pedro.
Thank you. I think I'll give it an 8. One thing I didn't like about it was, I mean, the rhythm and the lyrics are fairly repetitive. So if you didn't like how the song begins, you won't get any better from there. But still, I wasn't really annoyed to it. But I did wish it would change up a bit. But still, great piece of writing, great song in general.
Yeah, for me, I think a 7. Like, I think the accumulation of the harmonica, then the repetitive lyrics, and how long the song was kind of like soured the experience for me in a way. But I do appreciate the song and its meaning, and it is a very iconic guitar riff that, as we just found out, rap artists like to steal. So yeah, very good song. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, this is a 9 just because of the message. And I mean, the guitar is just amazing in this. I mean, the melody is just so calming and soothing, but then also with the lyrics about addiction, it's just a great song, man.
Yeah. So now moving on to Layla by Derek and the Dominos. David, why'd you pick this song?
Right, so this song kind of has two versions. One of them is this one, which is the more rock part, and one of them is also in the Unplugged album, or I mean, just a normal acoustic version, which Eric Clapton played, and that's in the same album as Tears in Heaven, by which Pedro chose. And I mean, this
Yep.
song, I mean, the guitar riff is just so iconic. It's just so great. And then when it just keeps going and it just goes into these crazy bends that just create these like crazy sounds, it's just so amazing. But then it goes into like a piano part, which is calming. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, the lyrics aren't really that deep. It's about a love story. But for me, this is more about the guitar and how it's used in this song. I mean, the riff, the bends, it's just so amazing.
Yeah, despite this song being much older than Shape of Your Heart, I do find it way less aged. Like I think this song is timeless. Like the guitar is just so iconic. It's been sampled in so many electronic songs as well that I recognized from. So yeah, I think this is the perfect song to listen to while you're speeding in the car, driving for a highway. Like it's just so satisfying to listen to. So yeah.
I agree with everything you guys just said, and I think that's interesting is that I didn't know that about the Eric Clapton, because for me this was an Eric Clapton song. Like I didn't know it was by the Derek and the Dominos. So I was really surprised by that. But maybe I prefer this version than Eric Clapton's. And honestly, I totally agree with what David said. The lyrics, it's a typical lyric about this girl and just the romance to it. The usual thing, but the guitar. This is this is a timeless piece of music right here. It's an amazing song, I think, to dance and sing to. Very energetic and super contagious. I think this is for a rock lover. I think this is a song. This has everything you want from a rock song, at least for the first part. Because I have to say, my biggest problem with this is I hated the second parts. Like I'm the kind of person who would listen to the first half and just skip the second. Like I wouldn't listen to the second half because it just I I didn't really see the purpose of it, and the tone was so abrupt, and it didn't feel right to me. But I don't know what you guys thought.
I think I have to disagree because with how long the song is, if it would have just been guitar for the whole thing, it would have gotten a bit boring for me. That like nice piano part just really gave it contrast to me. It's almost like he found meaning or found bliss with this girl leaving and is finally himself or something. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if the song was just that first 2 minutes and just guitar, I'd still love it as well. So I'm pretty relaxed with what you think. Like I don't think it's a big deal to cut the song in half
Yeah.
and just have that first part. But I do think if you like the sound and want to continue with it, the piano part does suit itself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you like it, listen to it. If you don't, just skip it. It's just
yeah.
a matter of choice. And I do agree with you. And you said like about also the duration of the song. Uh, I do agree with you. If it was just guitar, I think would be very annoying. Like I think guitars are really sick, but if you overplay it, then it just loses all its value.
Yeah.
So I would say it is a bit too long. I would say if he cut it, like I think the first half lasts the way it should. That's perfect. The perfect song in the first half, and that's when I think it should have ended.
Yeah,
But
maybe
I
if
do.
you're. Oh, sorry.
No, I do see your perspective. Yeah,
Sorry.
I completely see your perspective. So yeah.
Yeah. Like maybe if there are vocals in that second part, I like it even more because I do admit even the piano gets a bit stale. So
Yeah,
I
it
do
doesn't
think
Instead
it's
of vocals, you have the guitar that comes in sometimes, and I think that's also like a valuable part of the song. I mean, the guitar stays throughout.
Yeah,
It's not just piano.
yeah, but that's the thing. It stays for the whole song. I wish there was more. I mean, it's your perspective, but maybe if they had more layers to it to keep the song going, it wouldn't have felt so long in a way. But
Yeah, I do agree
Well,
with
there is
Taylor.
layers, and I think it isn't too long. I think this is the perfect song, and I don't care what you say.
that's respectable. I mean, so David, do you think it was justified how long it was in a way, or like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean the transition I think is actually justified. I mean those crazy bends that create these like really high pitched sounds, and then it just goes into this more calming piano thing, but also with some layer of guitar in the background. It's just so relieving. I don't know. It just gets you hyped at the beginning, but then it's more like, oh, okay, what's really happening here? I think because of the absence of the lyrics, I think this is actually not a deep song, but this is actually a song that you can listen to anytime. This is just a masterpiece.
Yeah, I think if the first half is you speeding with your car, the second half is you flying with the car. Like it's just so like relaxing and just trance-inducing. So yeah, I do. Maybe on more listens, I'll get used to it. But for now, I do think it was a bit too. It did stay its welcome a bit too long for me. But yeah.
I think that if the first part is like really speeding the highway, the second part is just getting a ticket and pull over. It just sucks, and you feel bad about it. But I think about being like justified. I'll be honest, I can't see why it should be justified because it's kind of honestly like if you think about like other songs they have this abrupt change, for example, like Band on the Run, for example, we just talked about. Uh, like like when you see the story, I think each part has its meaning. It just sets the tone for the story. And the first part of the song, he sets very well, like very energetic, this like really passionate love for this girl, which like not really working out so well. And but then done, it's finished, then piano. And the piano just stays there. And I don't really know what he means by that. Like happy ending or no, like
Yeah.
reset ending. Like what does the piano mean? Like honestly, if I play this in a song in a party, this part would just kill the room. I'm sorry, like everyone would be like what's happening? And that's the kind of like confusion I don't really get in this song. I mean, I do respect your opinion, David, but I
I
just
mean, I
for me it's
respect
just
yours
not
too,
justified.
because I've played
Well,
this song at a party before, and I have had to skip the piano part, so I know exactly what you guys are talking about.
so just curious, in the new version by Clapton, did he remove the second part or did he keep it as well?
I think he
No, I mean
removed it.
Clapton is in this song. I mean he
Oh, okay.
wrote the song
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, sorry. I thought like he made a version himself or something. But okay.
No, this is his song. He just made an acoustic version, which is super hard to play.
Okay.
Wait, but did he remove the? I think he did remove the piano part from the ending, or no?
Oh yeah, he
He's
did. Yeah.
So maybe he also thought it was a bit too long per se, but yeah.
maybe,
Well, but
but
his acoustic version is also much more heartfelt than this. It's more calming, I guess, because it's just the.
mhm. But
Yeah.
I think the first part of this version is so good because I said it. I think this version is better than Clapton's, even though Clapton's doesn't have the part that I absolutely hate. But this one, I think it like even though, and I agree with you that like he set such a like a heartfelt tone to the song, and I feel like in this version it's just a much more energetic, and the guitar is just much more present. And I don't remember. I think he plays with an acoustic guitar, right? In Clapton version, and I mean in this one it's an electric guitar, right? Much better. I mean, I thought that, but I may be mistaken.
Well, I mean, I think this is why we do the podcast. We have very different opinions. So, what you guys rate the song then?
This is a 10.
I
Pedro?
would give it. I would give it a 9. As I said, like, I think the first part is perfect, and I mean, I don't like the second part, so I would just skip it, and I wouldn't lose all the feeling about it. But if it hadn't had the second part, 10 out of 10. But 9 out of 10 is still a very good song.
Well, I'm in the middle of you guys because I don't love the song, but I do love some parts of the piano. So 9.5 for me, I think, in between you guys. Good.
Nice.
Anyway, last but not least, we're gonna cover um I was getting mixed up. Break My Stride by Matthew Walder. So
I mean,
why this song, David?
This is just such a motivational song, man. Like, I just find myself walking and this song comes on. I'm just like, oh man, like, I don't have to worry. Like, nothing's gonna break my stride. You know, nothing's gonna hold me down. Life is just gonna keep going, and I can do whatever I want. And I think this is just a great motivational song.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
honestly,
funky and oh, sorry, yeah, you go.
sorry. No, I was gonna agree with what David said. I think like the lyrics are like very uplifting, but yeah, and like it does get you motivated. But I still think it has a lot of room like to grow inside of me because for me there are some parts which are kind of annoying with the weird synths. Like I liked the chorus and the lyrics, but sometimes I was kind of like, ah, I don't want that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very 80s song.
Oh yeah, super 80s, classic 80s.
Yeah, I think if I'm not in the right mood, the song is a bit too upbeat and a bit too happy for me. Like it's a bit just too like giddy giddy, which I think will kind of make me a bit grumpy. But I think in a good environment with friends, especially, it's a very fun song to listen to. And I love like the tin can drums, where it's like a little kind of tin can kind of sound. And I like the synths a lot too. And the vocals, I do agree, have some like weird, well, there's some very weird lyrics in the chorus too, like "break my stride." I found that a bit strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, unlike the previous song, which is a bit too long, I think this song is perfect with timing. It doesn't overstay its welcome either, so it's pretty
Yeah.
well-rounded song, I'd say.
I would say the chorus is so memorable. Like I loved that chorus as well. And the lyrics and that thing, that's the one who really gets me and just makes me feel the way the song's supposed to make you feel. I have a bit more problem with the verses. I thought they aren't like very memorable to be honest. And that's the part of the song I kind of lose my interest. It's that kind of song like when you're playing a song and then it's kind of like okay, like Tiny Dancer for most people. Like Tiny Dancer, you just sing the chorus. You're like, hold me closer, Tiny, and the rest you're just like
Yeah,
silent because like you're not gonna remember those lyrics. But the chorus, it gets you.
and similar to like "Hey Ya" by Outkast, it's actually very sad
Yeah.
lyrics. Like for a very happy song, very sad lyrics about a guy whose girl just left him, and
Exactly.
like
Nothing's gonna break his stride.
yeah,
Oh
so
yeah.
it's this guy following this girl forever, which is a bit, I guess,
Sad.
tormenting in a way. Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you'll love me no matter what," which is a bit, I guess, not. It's a bit tunnel visioned maybe for a vision, but I do. But aside from the lyrics, I do. Even though I disagree with his moral stance, I do love how upbeat the song is. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, David, how did you like find out about this song? Because I hadn't heard about it before. Where did you listen for the first time?
Um, I think I heard the chorus somewhere, and what the hell is this song? This is such an amazing song. And then
Mm-hmm.
and I just kept like you know that time where you like search up on YouTube like, oh my god, what were the lyrics? Please tell me what the song is.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I just found it through that. Yeah, but this is just amazing. Like I'm always in the mood for this song, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's a classic 80s song and like like even like I saw like the video clip like it's 80s in every single way. It's uplifting, very kind of like when I think of this song, I think of like colorful song, but it can get annoying. But yeah, I think it may be a classic for a lot of people.
yeah, I agree. Like in the wrong circumstances, it could be a bit too obnoxious in a way, but overall, I think
Mm,
most situations, just a fun song. Like nothing too,
yeah,
just
yeah,
happy
and
go lucky.
I do think like we're not the target audience of this. Of course, this was released in the 80s, but it does give like a fresh kind of view into this kind of uplifting song because it's not a song like I don't think we're never gonna listen to any kind of song like this in the future. So this is kind of a once in a lifetime. So it's always good to go back in time and just get those vibes again.
Yeah, what happens in the 80s stays in the 80s. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Anyway, what's the rating of this song, guys?
10, I don't care. 10.
What?
Yeah,
This is
for
a
me,
10.
for me,
You
it's
think
6.
this is better? Or 6? Wait. Do
Yeah,
you think this is better than Shape of My Heart?
yeah, true.
Uh,
Yeah. What?
I mean, it's your
yeah,
opinion,
man.
David.
See, I just love this song, man. I can't justify why. It just gives me a feeling that I can't describe, and I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, some things
Uh,
just resonate. So yeah.
yeah. I would give it. I think I'll give it a 7. A 7. Solid 7.
Yeah, I think a 6. Like I think it's just good for me. Like it's not a bad song, not a great song. It's just fun and
Yep. I
yeah.
agree.
So anyway, guys, that wraps up our episode 3 of the podcast.
This was
Thank-
so long, dude. What
yeah.
the?
Wait, guys.
Oh yeah. How long normally is
This
it?
is like almost 2 hours, dude.
Guys, we have to finish the episode. Wait, before. Okay. Anyway, you see, we're very impatient now, but I want to give a small conclusion. So join us next episode where you'll see artists such as Aphex Twin, MCM, or Cedo. And as mentioned before, you can access our Spotify playlist called Podcas to listen to the songs mentioned. And yeah, hopefully, you guys, thanks to our massive fan base for listening to this song. And we'll see you guys later. Want to say goodbye, guys?
I get excited for another round of 30 minutes of British rap.
Pedro, want to say something?
I did want to say I want to say a couple of notes to my friends because I don't know if I'm going to be back in the podcast anytime soon. So I'd like to give my notes to Kevin Michael. He's a big listener of the song of the podcast. Daniel Scabieta, a great thank you to him as well. I dedicate all the songs to him. Mr. Felix, a thank you to him as well. And I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for having me, and goodbye.
Oh yeah, and thank you.
Loved having you on, Pedro. Great honor.
You. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Pedro. And you're always welcome to come back if you want.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Anyway, bye, guys.